Mabuhay from Iceland. Hello, everybody. Good evening to those who are more local here in Halifax and Nova Scotia in Maritimes, and maybe really, really late night or early mornings across the ocean. So, hello, everybody. My name is Tanya Matthews. I am with Iceland. By now, you may know that Thursday evenings we are coming to you live to talk about our services and programs that we have and offer to immigrants or those who plan to immigrate to Nova Scotia, Canada. And we talk about the services that we offer pre-arrival, so even before you come and land here, as well as the services you can access once you arrive to Nova Scotia. Tonight we have very exciting one. We are going to talk about our overall services, our bridging programs. I'll explain what that means, as well as specifically talk about services that are available to those individuals who are trained in nursing. So if you're internationally trained nurse, we are going to talk about licensure process and how to obtain your license so you're able to practice in Nova Scotia. As well as we'll talk about language support that's available, as well as financial support as you are going through those pathways. Tonight, I'm joined with three of my colleagues from iSense as well, and we'll introduce each other as we go along so that you can see our faces. I think Elizabeth, if you don't mind starting the PowerPoint, that would be great, and we can start just overall to let you know that all the services that we talk about and additional information you can get on our website. So feel free to visit isans.ca. As you can see, ISANS provides services. Sorry, ISANS stands for Immigrant Services Association Nova Scotia, and we provide services in pretty much all of the aspects of someone's settlement. From discussing and providing information about how to settle, where to settle in Nova Scotia, providing services and supports with learning English, um, doing business. So if you're more entrepreneurial inclined and how to start your own business, as well as to how to involve in the community. We are, Elizabeth Moja and I are from the Find Employment Unit. So most of the programs and the services we'll be talking about tonight is the services that support you in entering labor force and starting to work as a qualified nurse. If you can go to the next slide, thank you. So for us, iSense has been in existence for 40 years, and it's always been the main goal to help immigrants settle in Canada and build new future here. Our main vision is community where all can belong and grow. And as I mentioned, we provide services from settlement to all types of immigrants and in different immigration stages, all the way to English language supports, working in Canada, and so on. Just a little quick overview of who we are. Over the last year, as I said, we are celebrating our 40 years. It's our birthday this year. We have served over the last year close to over 9,000 clients. Over 4,000 of those clients were new. And our immigrants come from many different countries. I know that even though this is hosted by East Coast Filipino Porter, thank you again for having us. And that many of the listeners are of the Filipino background. We do know that there is also other potential clients around the world. So we have experience working with many different countries of origin, including our own staff. We are now about 300 qualified staff who come from many different countries, and we in the office definitely speak many different languages. So there is the support, at least in language aspect, for many of our clients. Not to skip it, but none of our programs that we survive couldn't be rich and robust without volunteers. And we do have over 700 active volunteers that help us, including volunteers who work with our nurses. We have been providing services distance and online for quite a number of years now. It is reality, I think, for everybody in the serving industry that we have moved our programs and services online, mostly due to the COVID. But we are, for us, that was not such a big deal because we have already been engaged in providing those services online and long distance for quite a while now. Um, and in terms of the programs that we are talking about tonight, so nursing programs and different components of this program, um, we are able to successfully do that utilizing different platforms. So Elizabeth will be talking maybe a little bit more on that. How we do it for us, it's very important that our services are client centered and strength based, that are customized and strategic, quite flexible. You have to be flexible in this day and age, responsive and accessible, integrated and grounded in partnerships. And again, we cannot do many of our programs and services without volunteers, without regulated bodies, without educational institutions and other professionals in the field. And how to start? It's simple. Go to our site or email us at intake@isans.ca to register and become iSense client. We will definitely be able to give you advice on where to start and how to proceed with your settlement and start accessing our services pre-arrival. We have seen a huge benefit to taking on those services even before you arrive to Canada and Nova Scotia because you are that much more oriented, informed, and ready once you land here in Nova Scotia. I just want to quickly then bring it to our employment and bridging services. It's a quite robust unit. We have many different programs. And majority of our programs or services start with meeting your own individual employment counselor who will help you develop a return to work action plan. So it's somebody who is professional and able to do the assessment and figure out what is the best, easiest, quickest, fastest way to get for you to gain employment, meaningful employment, and that is relevant to your occupation and previous experience and education. Employment counselors would also do referrals to a number of different programs, which also include job search strategies workshops, which are workshops that help you prepare to be successful as a job seeker. Looking for job is different in many different countries, including how you look for work in Canada. Investing time in doing job search workshops, the huge benefit is that you are able to target specific employers, only do few applications, and be much more successful in gaining meaningful employment. Our bridging programs are quite robust. We have a number of different programs. Today, specifically, we'll be talking about nursing. Um, Also, there is a number of programs that tackle practical assessments. Trades and engineers and architects do as well. Bridge to Work is a program that helps clients access entry-level types of jobs. We also work very closely with our employers. Employers trust us to make referrals of clients who are job ready, that we have prepared for labor force and working here in Canada, who understand Canadian workplace culture and are able to bring their knowledge, their experience from overseas and orient themselves to the new position and new work. And there is also a number of different tools that we utilize to help you become successful job seeker and prepare you for interviews. Um, the reason why we have a number of different bridging programs is because international educated professionals face a number of different challenges, meaning that if you are in any of those regulated types of fields, you to be able to practice in your field and not have to change and start a completely new, different career, different occupation, you would actually have to go through the pathway. Pathways could be sometimes difficult to navigate. Pathways are written in very maybe linear format when maybe your personal and own experience might not match that line perfectly. So our bridging programs can help you navigate and find the best way to go through the licensure process in a timely manner. Another a number of different challenges is that licensure pathway costs money, um, as well as there is a number of different exams associated with that, and bridging programs help you prepare to tackle those exams, as well as help you pay for the fees or study books or study time associated with that. Um, you would also have opportunity to practice and prepare for clinical skill exams. There is also attachment of the professional specific communication skills, and we have a guest speaker who will tell us a little bit more about that. Moja will talk about our loan that immigrant or internationally educated professionals can access to help them pay for the examination process. It just alleviates the burden of thinking, how am I going to pay for these exams or these books or the tools or the things that you may need, or even traveling to different part of the country to write the exams, when you actually are maybe working in a more entry types of position. Through bridging programs, you also have the opportunity to understand the professional scope and the cultural competencies that is required in that field, and tackle some of the additional challenges, which is creating networks. When you are new and an immigrant in a new country, it's all new. So hiring and getting jobs that are in the field or with a company or organization or employer of choice, it's very often reliant on having good networks. Um, and if maybe the pathway of the licensure is not something that you're interested, we can definitely look and help you into identifying meaningful alternative careers. And as I already mentioned, we do have a number of bridging programs. Today, we will be talking about bridging program for internationally educated nurses, nursing orientation program. Elizabeth, all to you. And don't forget you are muted, love.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Tanya. And magandang gabi po sa inyong lahat. Mabuhay mula po sa Iens dito sa Halifax, Nova Scotia. Good evening, everyone, wherever you are globally. Please feel welcome to our presentation tonight about Iens and specifically the Requested Internationally Educated Nurse Program. So my name is Elizabeth, and as my colleague Tanya mentioned a while ago, I am joined by our Employment and Bridging Manager, Moja Alia, one of the support, Tanya Matthews, who is my supervising team lead, um, who is supporting the IEN program. And I also have um, Carolyn Devar here, who is providing support for the IEN program that we deliver at iSense, and the Atlantic Immigrant Career Loan Fund, which is a big support for the licensure pathways, is also here, and you will be hearing more from them in a bit. For now, allow me to talk about the Internationally Educated Nurse Orientation Program at iSense. So, if you are an internationally educated nurse and you want to work as a nurse in Canada, except in Quebec and the territories, you must go through a completed application with the National Nursing Assessment Services, popularly known to IENs as NANAS or NNAS. So you may apply for license in the province of your choice, and I hope that for the purpose of this presentation that we are providing, that you will consider Nova Scotia. You can apply to become RN, which is the registered nurse, LPN, or the registered psychiatric nurse. So, as many of you know, coming from different parts of the globe, we are all coming here as nurses, but when you reach Canada, there will be three categories of nurses that you can apply, which I mentioned earlier, the RN, LPN, and the RPN. I would like to, and each of them have different specific scope of practice. And it's very important that when you are working through the licensure pathways, you have a good understanding of who you really want to be, um, that will equal your credentials that you're bringing in. So it is a decision that you will have to lead on as you understand the process of licensure to become a nurse in Canada. So the first step for you, it will be to go to NNAS, and the role of the NNAS for this purpose of licensure pathways is to verify your credentials, to compare your credentials to Canadian standards, and to provide secure online storage for your education and registration credentials. So this process is something that you can start while you are abroad. If you are an immigrant where you know already which that you are just waiting for your PR application, or if you are delayed in your travel because of the pandemic, or if you have already received and completed your immigration process and you're just waiting for your passport or visa to arrive to Canada, you can already get started with some of this process. And that is very important for you to know, because there are advantages for sure. One of those advantages that I would like to mention is that for the credentials, there are documents that needed to be translated in English, because only English documents are accepted in the licensure document application process. And if you do not have those translated in English and you already here in Canada, it may give you a more expensive process to add to already costing of the licensure, because you will be needing translator services, document mailing and whatnot. So it is advisable that if you are planning to immigrate to Canada, and sure to arrive to the province of your choice, and here is Nova Scotia, please get in touch with please visit the website of NNAS and know more about the pathways, the requirements especially, and the process. And here we are giving you the step, some of the steps to that will guide you, and the information that will help you um, um, make decisions about the licensure pathways. So I have mentioned the roles of NNAS. One of the requirements that I would like to highlight, um, understanding the time element that we have here to present, I would like to bring in one of the support program of Iens that works closely with the IENs attending my program when it comes to passing the CELBAN and Ielts. And I'm sure a lot of you are very familiar with these two English proficiency test exam, because these are the results are somewhat challenging for everyone to achieve. And however, I'd like to I'd like for you to know that when you are here in Nova Scotia and you reach out to ISANS, we do have services that provide that. I would like to bring in Carolyn to talk about the wait now hold hold it, Carolyn. I'll go ahead first with introducing the role now of the orientation program for internationally educated nurses. So I sense with the collaboration of our partners in the nursing profession community, we realize that a lot of the IENs are coming to our doors and they're not getting that enough support. So what ISENS did is to develop a program that will address the challenges and barriers that most IENs are facing as they go through the pathways. So here comes the birth of the orientation program for IENs. ISENS
Next slide,
is not
please.
sorry.
Just switch the slide. There
So
you go.
the program, thank you, Tana. The program provides the client information about the licensure pathways, which I will be discussing to you at the later part. It also includes the foundations for nursing practice for internationally educated nurse, the adult health assessment workshop. Um, wait now. I'd like to talk about the foundations for nursing practice for IENs. This is a 16-week facilitated course that will introduce you to the foundations for nursing practice in Canada. The program delivery takes twice a year, and that is during the spring and fall, using a blended format. However, please note that during this time of the pandemic, the delivery of the program did stop, and we are doing a virtual presentation through Zoom or Skype, and all sessions for now are delivered in that online format. And I'm happy to mention to you that currently I have 18 IENs attending the program who are coming from the Philippines, South Africa, Nigeria, Pakistan, India, and including those who are here already in Canada in the Halifax Regional Municipality, out in the rural areas of Cape Breton and Kentville. So, any one of you who are here or those who are pre-arrival, if you're interested, please reach out and connect with us, because this is something that you can access and help you as you prepare yourself to arrive in Canada. And for those who are already here but haven't heard about the program, please do not hesitate to give us a call. So this course, the Foundations for Nursing Practice, is designed to help you compare your own nursing education and clinical experiences with those found within the Canadian nursing practice. It also aims to help IENs identify any gaps in your nursing knowledge, skills, judgment, and competencies. Modules of these foundations for nursing practice would include therapeutic communication, mental health nursing, maternal child health and family focused care, health assessment, among others. I would like to just mention a specific why these topics are included. These are not new to you. We respect that all of you are coming here with your education, with your degrees, and some of you are even completed your masters of education, masters in nursing. But we do identify that some of the gaps are existing. For example, mental health nursing may be a subject that you have already taken in your education back home, but it is something that is probably limited because this topic is not an open communication. Some of the countries may not even speak about that because it's taboo in their conversation. So there's a limitation in the practice or exposure of nurses in that department. But here in Canada, mental health nursing it's like an everyday topic. It's part of the nursing and it's heavily practiced in Canada. So we identify those kind of gaps that we have to provide more information for the IEN to in order to understand the standards of how mental health nursing is practiced in Canada. Or, for example, in maternal child care, it is a specialty in some countries, but some of them may not have the opportunity to work in this specialty clinic, even as health assessment for adults, where most of the nurses coming from abroad are shadowing the doctor. So it's always a doctor doing the assessment. But here in Canada, each nurse has to have the entry level competencies so that when you go into practice, you are aware of the scope of practice and competencies that you are required as a licensed nurse in Canada. So, um, another part of the program that it provides the adult health assessment workshop. Again, like I'd mentioned a while ago, some of the IENs may not have the opportunity to do the adult health assessment workshop, but we do, ISENS provides an opportunity for those IENs who had already completed the foundations for nursing practice to have an opportunity to work in a nursing lab, to practice among themselves, or sometimes we do have simulated mannequins for them to work on um, as the facilitators do a demonstration about how assessments are done in Canada. We also have structured weekly study groups and topic specific nursing educational session. If, for example, we are delivering one of the modules in the foundations, and we see that there is a need for us to supplement the key concepts that are already provided in this module. It is my job to find and invite specialists to talk about specific topics. For example, if I notice in the classroom that there is a need for IENs to understand more about reading of AKG strips, for example, then I look for other my collaborators, the program collaborators and support who are competent in talking about the reading of the strips or AKG readings for that matter. We do also have provide in the program information about alternative careers for those IEN, for example, that probably had done enough of nursing in their previous life, that they wanted to start a new career here utilizing their knowledge, so they could be talking about any alternative career in the healthcare setting. Then we do organize sessions for alternative careers, such as those who could be working as phlebotomists, for example, or could be IENs, could be involved in research. We do also offer professional mentoring, and how it works is some of the IENs who are clients of ISENS who had gone through the program, who are now successfully licensed and gainfully employed, are coming back to ISENS as volunteers. And these are the professional mentors now that are giving and guiding those clients who are going through the program currently. And as I mentioned a while ago, the program has a strong collaboration with the Communications and Language team, which I will be introducing in a bit. The role of my colleague Carolyn Devar in supporting IENs as they go through the English proficiency testing, as well the Atlantic Immigrant Career Loan Fund and the employment specialist. Most of the IENs that comes to ISAN, after they register with the intake, they meet with the employment specialist. And it's very important because the employment specialist is the person that will know more about how we can holistically provide support for you as an IEN client. For example, if you are an IEN and would come to ISANS, and in your one-on-one meeting with the employment specialist, you had mentioned that I am speaking in English, but I don't feel comfortable or confident in my English communication, and I wish to improve it, then the employment specialist can work with our colleague from the language team and do the referral. Or, for example, if you're coming here as an IEN and you would say, I'm looking for a job while I'm working for my license, so I don't know how to find a job. The employment specialist, knowing what your goals are, will be working closely with you, especially with the when you are going through your licensure pathways and you will be needing the Atlantic Immigrant Career Loan Fund. Your employment specialist will be one of your closest person that you will be working with, because she will be working with you on how you can proceed with the financial support and assistance. One also one support here that the program appreciate and acknowledge is I may have not included here is the multi-stakeholders work group. Yes, the internationally educated nurses have the IEN multi-stakeholders work group, where ISENS is a partner, and these are um, the members of this are the key players that makes decision, creates program, creates support, and understand what kind of support and assistance we can give for the IENs as they work through the pathways to become licensed in Canada. Now, what else do I have to say? Um, I don't see the chat box right now, but please feel free to, if you have question or comment, please feel free to send it, and we will try to address it as I have time eventually. Now, I would like to go very briefly with,
Yeah. Right.
am I going fast? Yes.
Just a second, Elizabeth. I think no, chat box is doing great. There is no questions right
Okay.
now. We are monitoring, but I think this is good time to introduce
Um,
Carolyn.
okay. Okay. Can I just say something? Okay. Before I go further, I would like to introduce Carolyn, one of the colleague that I work with very closely and with the language team, and she will be introducing to you the program that she provides at iSense. Carolyn,
Hi, can you hear me?
yes.
So thank you, Elizabeth. My name is Carolyn Duvar, and I am a curriculum designer and a teacher. Um, so we do a lot of things specifically for the IENs. That's exactly. Um, and one of them is for the cell band. So the cell band test is called the Canadian English Language Benchmark Assessment for Nurses, but we just call it the cell band. That's the language exam for the IEN, and it's specifically written with all nursing content. This is something that you have to, it's the first exam you have to pass in your licensure process in Nova Scotia. But it's across Canada, so whatever province you go to, pretty much, I think except Quebec, um, you have to pass that course. Um, so it's based on the Canadian language benchmark. And I know a lot of people come here with very good English, but to become an IEN and go through the licensure process, you have to pass this exam. You have to pass 4 skills: listening, speaking, reading, and writing, and very high scores. So, for example, for the listening score, you have to be 10. And speaking, you have to be 8. I know it's hard to know what that means right now, but we've had a lot of IENs say passing the language part of the test is very difficult. And part of that is the language and the listening, but part of it is understanding the exam and how they're testing you, so exam strategies, and part of that's being nervous. So what we've done is we get people when they come, IENs when they come, they'll do a CLB test. So we test what their English is like now, and then we find out how we can help. So how language services can help you. And it also helps inform Elizabeth's course as well, because Elizabeth knows where you are. You know, if you're speaking stronger than you're writing, or you need help with your reading. So after we get you set up, we actually have 2 direct courses that can help you. And one is brand new, and it's the cell band course. And it's specifically to help people pass the cell band course. So it's based on the exam. We have to a lot of IENs who've written the exam, a lot of Elizabeth people. We talked to the designers of the exam at and we found out what information they're asking for. Yeah, I think it is my mic. I'll just try to go quickly. We found out what information they're asking for and what strategies are going to work for the exam. We do authentic practice, so there's lots of audio and videos to practice that are just about the same amount of time and same amount of difficulty as the exam, and some time practice, because a lot of issues can be that the exam is timed and you have to finish everything on time. And then at the very end, after you do these courses, there's actually a practice exam, and it's from the company that does these. So that's helpful. You need quite high scores to get into the Selvian course, and then you can pick what you'd like to work on. So there's 4 units: listening, speaking, reading, writing. And then prepare you for the exam, because the exam is set up the same way. They have listening, speaking, reading, writing. Listening being the most difficult for most people. So that's really popular, and we're hoping that it really helps people be more prepared going in. And then we have another course which is called Interprofessional Communication, and that's about communicating with your coworkers. So that would be, talking to people on your healthcare team. It's about interprofessional collaboration, because you have to speak up in the healthcare teams here. It's not one person talking, it's everybody giving their expertise, it's everybody giving their opinions and the feedback of their results. This is a new course as well, and it's based on the language and teamwork culture, and it's based on interprofessional educational cases from Dalhousie University. That's the big university here in Halifax. And it's for all healthcare people. So you might be in a class with IENs and with physiotherapists and pharmacists, and you have to learn how to talk together on a team and come up with a healthcare plan. So it's a great, safe place to practice giving your opinion and agreeing and disagreeing, and being able to talk in a healthcare setting. And there are some things you can hoping to offer these pre-arrival in the future. But we do have other language courses that you can take pre-arrival. So, for example, listening and speaking at work, or professional communication. Really very strong writing courses, if writing something you need to work on. So there's a lot of things you can do even before you come, and I would suggest you do anything you can before you come and get a lot of confidence in your English, and you kind of start off on a stronger foot, and then maybe you don't have to do it. You use many English courses in your life. So the more you can do before, the more prepared you are. And I think my mic's the noisy one, so I'm going to mute unless anyone has something you want to add.
There was a question in the chat box, because Selban is not offered until next year. Do we offer IELTS prep course?
Yes, there is an IELTS prep course. It's a 4-week course, I believe, and it's the same type of thing. They teach you the format of the exam strategy for IELTS. But the better you know the IELTS strategies, the better you're going to do. They give you a lot of practice and a lot of feedback. So you're with a language teacher, and you're going to do practice on each skill. So if you choose to go the IELTS route, like maybe you're very, very close on the IELTS course, we have a course for that as well.
Thank you, Carolyn.
Welcome.
I think we missed a lot of most of the information because the voice was not clear, but it's okay.
Yeah. And Elizabeth, just to give you a heads up, maybe 10 minutes.
Thank you so much,
please.
Yes. Can you hear me now? So I will continue with the licensure pathways. You have heard from Carolyn. That's a very important support that we receive from the language services team. As one of the requirements for licensure application is the English proficiency test via the IELTS or the SALBAN. Now I am going to go over quickly the pathways to licensure for LPN and the RN as lifted from the Nova Scotia College of Nursing. So the licensure process in Nova Scotia, the regulatory body governing the practice and licensing of the nursing profession is called the NSCN, which regulates the LPN, RN, and NPs on behalf of the public. The NSCN have an obligation to protect the public, overseeing the practice of approximately 15,000 nurses who are licensed to practice in the province. To learn more about the NSCN and its role in the licensing, as well as the understanding the pathways, please visit their website. However, for now, for the purpose of this presentation, as we provide support for the licensure pathways at Iens, I am going to go through the licensure pathways. So when you apply, as I mentioned earlier, NNAS is the first stop. So you can go to the website of NNAS and read through all the requirements that are listed in their website. You can download the application handbook because that is the most useful document that you can be guided upon. So when you start your application process, which you can do pre-arrival, it will cost you 650 US dollars per application, and the timeline is up to 1 year. I really like this pathways that was created by NSCN because it allows you to have a clear understanding about the pathways, including the timeline and the costing. And I would like for you to specifically focus on the yellow box, which will be which is the timeline and the costing. So once the NNAS receives all of your documentation, and if within 1 year you completed all the documents, they can give you the advisory report. So once the advisory report is completed, it will now go to Nova Scotia College of Nurses, and this is the application cost. So the NSCN will then assess your application documents that they receive from NNAS, and will do their own assessment for a timeline of 10 weeks. Now, there are three routes where you could be, where an IEN could go further. The LPN and the RN have similar process, but of course, because of the difference in the scope of practice, there are the contents of the Route 1 and Route 2 are different. So for LPN, you will have to take the CPNRE, which is the board exam, and these are the costing. And if they deem that your requirements and assessment are not are having some gaps, then they can assign you to go through the Route 2 process, where you can be, for LPN, there's the Substantive Equivalent Competence Assessment, or the SECA, or they can suggest to you to take the Nursing Reentry Program. Here are the costing, and here are the timeline. Tanya, is the presentation coming to you clear too at your end? So I will go with the
presentation is clear.
Okay.
It's just that
the voice.
the letters and the numbers a little bit smaller. So I am typing it in the chat so they will have the
Yes, please.
information.
Yes,
No
please,
worries.
because this will be, they will have a better
Okay.
understanding when Mo just does the application costing. So
Yep.
so for the RN, I think I forgot. I apologize. I forgot. So if you are coming to Nova Scotia and applying for the licensure, you can apply for both. It all depends on your decision and how you assess yourself. You can either apply to NNAS and apply for both LPN and RN, and but those are the each one of them have different requirements when it comes to the assessment process. Some of the IENs do both. Some just go straight to the RN pathways. Now I'm going through the RN pathways. The same thing, NNAS is the first stop, and then one of the big challenge here is the English proficiency test, because it is a requirement to register and be licensed in Nova Scotia, and that's why we bring in the Salban support from Iens and the Ielts support from Iens. So once you have received your advisory report, same thing, 1 year, you will have then to apply to Nova Scotia College of Nurses. And the timeline for assessment is 10 weeks. Same thing, you will be given the Route 1 option and the Route 2 and Route 3. The if the college seem that you are somewhat comparable to the Canadian standards, they might offer you to take the NCLEX and the jurisprudence exam. Please note that all regulated professions, even including nursing, every province you will have to, they have their own jurisprudence exam. So you have to take the jurisprudence exam and pass it to become licensed as part of the requirements. So if you are in Route 1, and you have taken the NCLEX and jurisprudence exam while waiting for the result, you can then apply for a conditional license. So again, I would like to focus your attention on the yellow box here for the costing. If the presentation is not coming clear to you, you can go to NSCN and you can just go Google the licensure pathways for LPN in their website. And then the route 2, if you are you have gaps but minimal to that you can be competent to pass the competence assessment, they can also give you that option if you are in route 2. Or if you, for example, have taken the competence assessment but did not fulfill the expectation to become a licensed nurse in Canada, or if you did not meet the assessment criteria, then you will then be required to take the nursing reentry program. Again, for the reentry program, this is 1 year, and it is a popular entry, so there is a waiting period. I would like to I would like to highlight this reentry program because this is a common question that I receive from IENs. The ISANS program that we deliver is not the same as the subjects or topics that are delivered in the nursing reentry program. Please remember that ISANS is a nonprofit organization. We are not an institution. However, the programs that we deliver are organized in such a way that they are we cover the key the foundations, the basic understanding and information that an IEN would need to know in order to start start understanding what kind of gap he or she may have coming from abroad as they integrate their practice to become a nurse in Nova Scotia. The nursing reentry program, these are already program identified after an IEN had gone through the assessment process. So these are more structured. They are delivered. Delivered at the RNPDC, which is the Registered Nurses Professional Development Center, and that is a very condensed process of learning the nursing subjects that you are identified to have gaps. For the route 3 here, there are very few that may fall in this category. However, it has to be there because some of the IENs that may be coming here may not be eligible for registration and licensure. Either they did not meet the requirements or the standard, and so they could either be considering to take alternative career, or if they really are passionate to become nurses, they may be wanting to restart their nursing by enrolling at NSCC, the Community College for LPN, or Dalhousie University for their nursing for nursing profession, registered nurse profession. Now, I would like to show you how our program delivery. During the pandemic, this is what happens. We have the facilitator, and then this group here are the wrap-up session, which is the time when we complete the 16 modules, and we bring all the facilitators to meet all the participants to have an open question and answer and discussion about any topic that may have been covered or did not covered, but they wanted elaborate some further elaboration. and we provide them a non-credit certificate just to give them the document that they completed this program. And this slides here, this photo here shows how they are working as a group or as a partner on a case presentation that is provided by the role play here that you see on screen. And the study group, we have this group is usually the group of IENs who had already completed the bridging program for from the RNPDC and or preparing to take the NCLEX exam. We do have a classroom setting for them, and yes, up until this moment, it is still continuing. We will be resuming our study group session in December, and this is the setup. It is a very comfortable setting, non-judgmental. Everyone can make a mistake because we are not perfect, and each one of us are learning. So it is just a good opportunity for us to explore and discuss among ourselves in while we learn, and it also provides an opportunity for networking. These are some of the photos that was taken when we had the workshop, health assessment workshop at the nursing lab. So we did the demonstration, and then we grouped the IENs and they partner and do the assessment. And here is another classroom session where we deliver nursing specific educational session. And I think we'll go now with Moja, who will be talking about the Atlantic Immigrant Career Loan Fund. And if I did mention to you a while ago, the yellow boxes will be a good basis why we need the collaboration from the Atlantic Immigrant Loan Fund for the licensure pathways. Um, your floor is yours, Moja. Thank you.
If I can
Thank you,
just
Elizabeth.
If I can also just have a couple of questions in the chat. One of the
Yes.
questions by Fairmont was if ISANS provides training or certification for LPNs to be eligible to work, for example, in dialysis unit. I guess we have to say that ISANS is not an educational certification organization. We provide support and help to those who want to go and do the exams or challenge exams, but we don't actually train in any of these nursing specific types of topics. For that, as Elizabeth mentioned, Nova Scotia Community College or Dalhousie University are the educational institutions.
Correct.
And if you start the assessment and you receive feedback from Nova Scotia College of Nurses or about your skills, you could access the Registered Nurses Professional Development Center training as
Yes.
well. Can we the list mute, please, for me just to
Yeah,
take on?
Elizabeth, do you mind muting?
Thank you. So do you want? Perfect. Can you go to the next slide, please?
Sorry, there was just one more question.
Okay. So
Sorry, Dana, Moshe. There was one more question. I was
yeah,
just
go
not sure
ahead.
if I understand the question. The question is also, are there any programs that for IENs who want to challenge the curriculum, OSCE?
I might be able to answer that. We just designed an OSCE course. So it's communications for the OSCEs. So I think Elizabeth would know better that sometimes some people can jump the whole queue of exams. So there is a language and communications
and there
course
is
for that.
also through the orientation to the and Foundation of Nursing program, the adult health assessment 1 whole day could be helping you in getting prepared for the OSCE, which stands for Objective Structured Clinical Examination. So definitely using the mannequins and going through cases for 1 whole day is going to be helpful. Again, as Tanya and Elizabeth mentioned, we are not teaching nursing. We are providing you with an orientation to nursing. So just to start with the Atlantic Immigrant Career Loan Fund, Elizabeth and everybody spoke about the expensive pathway to licensure for nurses, and we are here to support you whether you are in Nova Scotia or in the Atlantic provinces. So the Immigrant Career Loan Fund is a microloan program for international trained immigrants. You don't have to be in a regulated occupation. You could be in nursing, or you could be in trades, or even in an entry level, like in jobs related to administration. So we provide microloans to newcomers, and it will allow you to overcome any financial barrier you have to upgrade your skills or become licensed in your field. Next, please. So, if wherever you are living in the Atlantic provinces, whether you are living in Nova Scotia, New Brunswick, PEI, or Newfoundland, we are working with different partners, and you can access the support and the services of the program through connecting with all of them. So, and we work very closely with Royal Bank in all the provinces to make sure that you are receiving the financial support needed. So okay, so what can the funds be used for? You can use the funds for professional registration fees, for licensing exams, training or tuition fees. You can decide that you want to change your career and you want to get upskilling or reskilling in another occupation. Sometimes you are working like full time as CCA, and but you need to take some time off to study for an exam, so you end up working part time hours. In this case, we can offer 3 month living expenses for you. Sometimes you have to write the exams or study in a different place where you have to travel. So we can pay for your travel and accommodation expenses to complete the exams. There are so many books and study materials that are needed for nurses. So you can definitely apply for part of the money to be paid through it. And of course, if you need any tools or equipment to get your job done, you can also apply for those. Those are only uh, samples. I'm just going to talk a little bit very quickly about the program before what it is all about. You can borrow up to $15,000 depending on your action plan. The interest rate is prime plus one, which is very minimum at this point. It's 2.45 at this point at Royal Bank, and plus one, so 3.45, which is really very reasonable for you to go ahead and borrow the money. And you have time throughout the study period to pay only interest, but after you finish, you have 6 months of grace period, and then you start the repayment process. So, in a nutshell, it's a place for you to get all the support you need and not to put everything on hold just because you don't have the money. You don't need to have any credit history. You can't have an undischarged bankruptcy. You can't have very bad credit, but definitely you could arrive today and apply for the loan tomorrow. So there is nothing that could stop you. Of course, you have to be a permanent resident or immigrant Canadian citizen. And like if you are on a temporary foreign work permit, or if you are international graduate, at this point you are not eligible. But once you become permanent resident, you will become eligible for the loan. Make sure, please, wherever you are living, to connect with one of the organizations and follow the website. It's aiclf.ca, and in there you can go through a quiz, which will where you could answer some of the questions, and then it will lead you to speak with any of the immigrant serving agencies that could work with you on the loan. So thank you so much. Any questions?
Right now, oh, there is one question. Does it apply to new registrants? How about ongoing registered nurse re-entry program?
Absolutely, you can. Like you, there are people who became licensed as LPNs, and they want to become RNs. They still applied for the loan, and we supported them. So it doesn't matter as long it's the loan is going to help you in becoming more successful in your fields or becoming certified in other fields that will get you into employment. We are there to support you.
I am not seeing any other questions. Joey, anything else on the sites you are monitoring? Just for you guys to know, please feel to visit isans.ca. There is a whole lot more information in case you have missed it in this presentation. Or contact us at info@isans.ca. Or if you want to register that as an iSense client, contact us at intake@isans.ca. Here are our direct emails. You can follow us on Facebook, LinkedIn, and Twitter. And specifically, if you're interested, employment_services at isans.ca will bring your questions and concerns and interests directly to us, and we'll be able to respond right away. Thank you for answering. We're having a big thank you for answering people's questions. Thank you for listening and sitting on our presentation. Thank you for all the presenters. And I think that's it for now. Thank you. See you next
Thank you. Is it
Thursday.
Salamat? Salamat, Elizabeth? Okay,
Yes.
perfect.
Maraming salamat po. Thank you very much to
Thank you.
everyone.